right. Good evening, childrens. Yes, I'm still in my elephant shirt from this morning, from my other video. Dinner time. It's now 6:30 or so, Tuesday night, and I still have a couple of steaks left over. I've had 2 so far, but I got, I think, 3 left from Chiang Mai. Every time I go to Chiang Mai, I buy me a nice little steak. This is an Australian ribeye. Look at the marbling on that sucker. Yum, yum, yum. So I'm not going to have to do a whole lot to this to make it taste good, but if you've never had steak dipped in like a blue cheese sauce, Outback, they have like a blue cheese sauce, not for steak, they have it for the, I think like the chicken wings or the celery, whatever. But Rob Jones, my buddy, went ahead and dipped some steak in blue cheese sauce one time, and it was friggin' delicious. It was unbelievable. So all I did was took a pretty sharp knife, this one here, and I went inside the side of it, cut a little incision in there, and then I felt my way around, you know, while holding it like that. Be careful you don't puck up the side, and just sort of made a nice little pocket in there like that, movement there. So you see the slit is only this wide, but you see how I angled the knife back? And that way I'm cutting a nice little pocket into that hole inside there. And then same thing this way. You go in here, you can flip it over if you want. And I'm feeling for where the meat isn't open, and just cutting that with the tip of the very tip of the knife, and making a nice little pocket. And then you can feel, you know, when you're at the edge, the point, like the point is right there. So I'm going to stop right there and not go any further, because I don't want to cut a hole. I don't want to cut it in half. I don't want to butterfly the steak. I'm just cutting a nice little pocket in, and like I said, the pocket's going all the way over here, even though the slit stops here, by angling the knife down on the side like that. And all we're doing is making a nice little house, a nice little cave, if you will. I'm clearing it out with my finger now, any little pieces of sinew or whatever that are in there holding it up. The knife didn't cut. And all I'm going to do is take some, it's blue cheese, but it's Danish blue cheese. I couldn't find just regular American blue cheese. So yeah, Danish blue cheese. Don't even want to know what I paid for it, because I'm sure it was super expensive. But yeah, it's 100 grams. So I took a nice little hunk of that, cut it out of the little wedge there, and I'm going to take it with my fingers and push it in to the center, and then up into that little pocket. So it's right here. It's right here on this edge. I basically filled this corner with that first piece. And you know, you can mold it, you can shape it. I'm flattening it out a little bit in there. And then I'm just going to take another hunk, same thing, just cut off with a wedge. Not too big, so that it will fit in there. Just a nice little piece. Get inside my hole again, and we'll go keep the other one company. I'm going to push it straight back again into the center, the gap right down the center of where I cut it. And then with your other finger, well, in this case my thumb, push it up to the top like that. So now I've got 2 pretty good sized pieces, one here and one here, and you can feel it. You can feel the lump, and all I'm doing is flattening it out. I'm pushing with my thumb. So now I've got 2 pieces, one here and one there. So we're getting there. She's almost full. Hang on, Betsy. Now straight in, but this time I'm going to go a little bit to the left of the middle, right there. See, so there's a room for my finger, and get that sucker down up into this side down here. Once again, all the nooks and crannies. You want that sucker filled with blue cheese. And if, like I said, if you've never had that on a steak, it is friggin' delicious. So this last piece is pretty big. I've cut this pretty wide, pretty deep. And that, of course, is going to take up that whole, what's left, that center section right in there where I have been putting my finger in. Just shove it in, push it in past the halfway point. Yeah, my finger is here. Go past the halfway point. And then to close it, Get every, like I said, every last little bit of goodness inside there. The little crumbs, everything. Yeah, shove that sucker right down the middle. Remember, we had two pieces here, and here, and then we had the new piece we just put up in here. This sucker's right down the center where my finger had gone, and then see how I just close it like that? I'm just pushing it closed. I'm sealing it with the blue cheese. And that's right in the middle. It's a nice big hunk dead center right there. That's that last piece I just put. So we got 4 pieces of blue cheese in there. The steak is back to the shape that it was. When I cook it, this is going to ooze out a little bit. It's not perfectly sealed. But, you know, it's not all going to ooze out. Just a little bit will ooze out. And I'm actually going to let it sit a little bit because the best way to cook a steak is to let it come up to room temperature. Now it's 6:30 and I only had juice, and I told you yesterday, Monday, that this week I was going to do juice for breakfast, juice for lunch, and then a normal dinner. So this is day 2 of that. So far I'm still on that. So I was friggin' hungry. I was sitting upstairs and I was like, damn, I'm like, why am I this hungry? Because I had juice. I had juice for breakfast and lunch. I am going to put not salt, because I discovered here in Thailand Maggi sauce, and that adds enough salt to it without sauce. It's actually a soy product with MSG, which I know is a no-no, but it makes shit taste good. So I'm just using fresh ground black pepper, always fresh ground. It makes such a difference. So I'm just hitting it with some pepper, flip it over. Because what's happening is while I'm letting it come up to room temperature, and as I was saying, I'm hungry, so it's not going to be an hour, but 5-10 minutes. I'll let it sit here. I want the spices and the flavorings on it, so that's why I'm putting the pepper on now. I'm going to put the Maggi on. I'm going to put Worcestershire sauce on, and I always hit it too with a little bit of liquid smoke. My buddy Jeffrey's coming out from America to get married to the love of his life in Thailand in December if they open up the country. If they don't open up the country, I guess they'll postpone it till next year. He's going to wait, and it's end of December. He wanted to get married on the 26th, the day after Christmas. So hopefully that's still going on. We'll know in the next probably 3 weeks or so if they're going to open the country up or not. And he's going to bring me Colgan liquid smoke, which is superior to this product here in Thailand. Number one, I paid 384 baht for this, so like over $10, like $12 for this little freaking bottle. And it's not even the good stuff. It's more like chemical based, but beggars can't be choosers. So Jeff is hooking me up. He's going to bring a 4-pack of Colgan with him. It's the little things, that you miss from America. So I'm just going to kind of go over the top of it a little bit. I don't want to hose it down. A little bit goes a long way. And just kind of rub that in to the top, just like 2 drops basically. So it's not all over the place. You can just see I just took 2 drops and I rubbed it all over the steak. That's it. Because you don't want it overly smoky, and it's not, it's not barbecue steak, it's just steak. But I like that smoky flavor added to the profile. And then I'm going to add Worcestershire and Maggi sauce, my favorite, which is, once again, those 2 things I think make meat taste more like meat. And then I'll kick the video back on for grilling it up, for cooking it. Alright, sports fans, it's cooking time. Non-stick pan, nice little dab of butter, and on the flames. This is the killer burner that I hate, because you can turn it down and it doesn't matter, it's still really friggin' hot. I've got my implement of destruction, a little flipper, and my steak. You can see I put some more seasoning on it, the Worcestershire sauce, Maggi sauce, and a little garlic seasoning. Is the white stuff you're seeing. Once again, no salt. Butter's melting pretty quick. Don't want to brown the butter, just melt it. Just get it so it's melted in the pan. No browning. And take that steak. Beautiful. I'm going to put the blue cheese side, the cut, towards me, and hit it with a little bit of Maggi sauce on this side, because I didn't, when I put it on the one side, I didn't flip it. because I didn't want all the sauce, all the Maggi sauce to go onto the board as opposed to the steak. So a good way to learn how to cook the steak is go ahead and start poking it. In the beginning, use a digital thermometer and cook it, look it up on the internet for the right thing. But in the beginning, if you just poke it, then it will kind of feel like the loose part of your skin. If you just hold your hand out like that, that's what a raw steak or a rare steak will feel like. It will give and push in and not have any firmness to it. Now, if you make a fist, that tightens up. That's more medium rare. It still has give, but it's more yielding than just a soft, pushy without. And then I believe it's here is for medium, but nobody cooks steaks medium anymore or well. So those are the only two you'll really need. So just learn the difference and feel between a loose portion of your hand and when you make a fist. So it still has give. I can still poke that. See the resistance? But it's harder than that first one. So get used to cooking by feel. Alternatively, for a normal steak, 1 inch, what this one is, about an inch in diameter, inch and a half, you can go 3-4 minutes on one side and then flip it. In general, you don't want to be flipping your steak back and forth. But you can give it a good 3 minutes on one side and then sear it over. And once again, I have this. I don't want it to burn, so I have this as low as it'll go. But I might even flip this in 2 minutes because this sucker is so hot. I mean, this is the one we put the wok on. And you can see the butter is already browned, which is not good. You don't want the butter to brown that quick. So far, no leakage from the blue cheese. I'll give you the bird's eye view here. See inside the pan. See how that butter is already brown? That's not good. That's too high a heat. But that sucker's down as low as it will go. That's just this burner. So I'll give it another 30 seconds or so and then give it a little flipsy doodle. And even it's so hot, what I'm going to do is take it off the heat right now and just let it continue to cook based on that super hot pan without having even more heat thrown at it, because this is thick enough that I can burn the outside and not have the inside cooked. So also by doing this, swirling the pan a little bit, I'm getting the round part with the butter. All right, I'm going to give it the flip. A little bit of blue cheese is just starting to ooze out. I want to make sure I have some butter underneath the steak before I flip it. Yeah, see, it's already starting to burn. See that? That's too much. That's too much char. I mean, I'll eat it, but that's not good. So I'll put it on for maybe a minute now. And, once again, this thing is as low as it will go. But I'll put it on for about a minute, and then I'll pull it off. And then I'll put it on for 30 seconds and pull it off. You got to play with it and baby it a little bit because it's so damn hot. And then, especially because it's that much char, here's a technique that's really good. You just take the butter, the melted butter, and spoon it up onto the steak. So you're basically basting the steak with the butter so it gets moist. That blue cheese is definitely oozing out now. It's reached ooze point. So there you go. That was just my in addition to basting it with butter, I also had it off the heat for about 20 seconds, which helps. So real quick, I just washed up and cleaned the cutting board. That's one less thing to clean. Once again, take it off the heat. And you can hear it sizzling. Yeah. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. So it's still hot, even on that low heat. I'll give it another minute. Yeah, it's still soft. It's still rare. See how much give that is with my finger? See how far in that goes like that? You shouldn't be able to push it that fast. It shouldn't be that soft. Goes in too much. It gives too much at this point. And once again, when you're new, oh, there went all the blue cheese. That was real smart to poke it with the stuffed blue cheese. That was an idiot move on my part. A big gob of the blue cheese just came out. That wouldn't have come out if I hadn't poked it like that. So yeah, in the beginning for sure, use your thermometer, rely on that, get the internal temperature in the center of the steak, you know, cooked good. Alright, the edges are just about done now. They're firm, they're kicking back. So what I'm gonna do, what I've learned to do on this thing, is cut the heat off completely. I just turned off the flame. But I'm gonna let it sit there and sizzle, basically, for another 30 seconds to a minute, and then it should be perfectly cooked inside. I'm gonna let it coast. And then after it's cooked, I'm gonna let it rest, you know, so when I cut into it, the juices don't go out all over the place. That's it. Bring it up to room temp, which I didn't do because I'm hungry and in a hurry. Touch it raw so you get used to the feeling of it, so you can feel how different it is as it cooks. Use a digital thermometer until you're very comfortable with your finger for how much it, you know, how it cooks. Try some different shit. Cut that little pocket and stuff it with bacon, stuff it with ham, stuff it with cheese, whatever you come up with, you know. Use your imagination. Lots of stuff tastes good with steak. And that's it. I'm gonna cut it up, put it out. I got the little A1 steak sauce over there. I'll put it on the plate, cut it up. You can check it out. All right, kiddies, dinner time. Here's how she came out. Nice little piece of steak. You saw the marbling on it. I did get a pretty good brown. See the brown? I got the right color. That's the blue cheese that oozed out. I got my blue cheese sauce after all. But you can see the brown. They cooked perfectly on the other side. So I went too dark on the first, a little bit too long. So you saw what I did with turning down the heat and all that to make it ready on the second go around. A1 steak sauce. I paid like $4, 135 baht, over $4 for it. But hey, when you need it, you need it. I put a little A1 on there with the blue cheese. So the sauce is really A1, and not a lot. I used like 3-4 drops, 5-6 drops, 10 drops, whatever. But, I mean, I didn't cover it in friggin' A1. So it's a combination of the juices from the steak when it cooked, plus that blue cheese that oozed out, the brown butter, and the A1 blue cheese, steak juice, and brown butter. That's my steak sauce. So we'll see how I did here. Cut into it. Oh, yeah, it's actually medium. It's overcooked, so I really did cook it too much on that first side. You can see it's still pink, but especially the end part is a little, I'd say it's more medium than medium rare. Now, it's juicy as hell with all that marbling. Let me go right down the center here. Get some of our blue cheese and see how it cooked up in there. Yeah, now we got pink. We definitely got some pink up in there. And I can't wait to get a bite of that little pocket of blue cheese in the middle there. Yum. Oh my God, that's good. You know, A1 has Worcestershire sauce in it. So you get that flavor, that tartness of it's a tamarind. I've come to find out since I lived in Thailand, that's the flavor, that tamarind, that kind of tart in your mouth. Oh my God. I think it was like 210 baht for the steak, so we're talking about $7, you know, which is what you pay for a steak out. Well, you pay more for a steak out, but God, this is delicious. This is, every bite is like a little piece of heaven. And even though I went too heavy on the first side, it actually tastes good because I got crispy char, like you would from a charcoal grill. My God. This is one of the best things I've eaten in a long time. Very happy. So, once again, on an electric grill, which is what I grew up cooking on a regular, normal stove. You don't have to deal with the temperamental, wok sucker like I do. Yeah, look at that. Look how pretty that is. Oh my God, it's good, guys. It is really good. I think 3 to 4 minutes works. That's what I've done my whole life, and they were cooked perfectly. On this one, I keep adjusting the time down lower. I keep adjusting the heat down lower. I keep on taking it off the heat because it's just so damn high. When we cook food in a wok on that thing, I just blast it on high. It cooks in 10 seconds. I mean, the stir fry shit cooks in 10, 15 seconds. It's just insanely hot, that burner. What I might do long term was get a little hot plate, like a little small hot plate, to cook my meals on, because I'm used to the electric burner. I'm used to not getting that hot for anything. And then when I do need to, scorch it with afterburners, we got the gas burner. So, but yeah, that's my steak. I'm very happy. The vegetables were just some frozen vegetables I bought in Chiang Mai. Carrots, corn, peas, and then I threw some mushrooms in. A little butter, a little pepper, and a little Maggi sauce instead of salt. I don't use salt anymore. I use Maggi sauce for everything. And then some of the leftover brown butter in the pan. That was too much to put on the steak. I put over the vegetables too. There you go. That's dinner tonight. Hope you all have a good one.